In 2022 alone, we're looking at $10 to $52 billion in direct subsidies, subject to a 25% tariff at the time, and is now subject to a 50% tariff. The administration is ending this status that provides a path to work permits, legal work permits.
Let's jump into a few clips of AOC tearing up MAGA Department of Energy Secretary Chris Wright. If you can, leave us a like on the video. It lets us know you enjoy the content. It gives us a big boost in the algorithm, and let's get right to the debate.
There was kind of an insinuation that after confirming that solar and renewable energies receive public subsidy, there was a little bit in the exchange that folks may have insinuated or taken from it that fossil fuels do not receive public subsidy. That's not what you're saying, right? Correct, Mr. Secretary?
Nowhere near of the same magnitude. And there's controversy about how to count them. I would say no meaningful subsidies today for oil and gas in the United States.
Okay, I think you're right in that there's a disagreement in that. Because I think what most people consider a subsidy is public use, public resources going to an industry or corporation. And in 2022 alone, we're looking at $10 to $52 billion in direct subsidies, anywhere between, again, depending on how you count it, 1.5 to $7 trillion globally.
And this point is really important because many conservatives know essentially they've lost the empirical arguments on climate change. Like, it's obviously real. We know that now. They were wrong, right? We know that humans contribute to it in a major way. They were wrong about that. So since they can no longer meaningfully call it fake, Trump obviously still tries, but so now they do the economic arguments, and subsidies are a big one, which AOC is pointing out here often escapes the fact that the oil industry receives far greater subsidies. Like, it's not even close. $15 billion for green energy, anywhere for 20 to 50 billion for oil, where it should also be mentioned that this comes with additional subsidies upwards of $650 billion in dealing with the air pollution and climate impacts from that, which we are subsidizing for a private lobby that makes over $4 trillion in profits each year to destroy our environment. Somebody make that make sense to me?
So there are hundreds of thousands of legally documented immigrants here, many that work in the energy sector that are here under different kinds of authorizations, one being temporary protected status that Mr. VC had raised. And the administration is ending this status that provides a path to work permits, legal work permits, for huge sectors of the workforce in the United States. Are you supportive of ending these work authorizations?
Again, I'm not actively working on immigration policy and all that. I don't think I have a thoughtful response to that.
And it is connectable here, actually, because of the increase in prices or the other shocks that the energy sector could experience from mass deportation, as many sectors will, right? But notable that cabinet officials are unwilling to take a stance, probably for fear of repercussion from Trump. And what she's talking about here is Trump wiping away temporary protected status for 500,000 immigrants, mainly Haitian. To him, I guess, a good way to lower undocumented immigration is to make hundreds of thousands of documented immigrants undocumented, and then hope you can just round them all up and send them to a foreign gulag. It sounds so dumb to say out loud that I can't believe it's actually true.
What are your stances on the president's tariffs that are increasing costs of production?
There's lots of impacts, and there's lots of things that impact the cost of production. Most of what the president is doing is going to meaningfully lower the cost of production. But his agenda to try to reshore heavy industry manufacturing in the United States, I think it's good for the country in the long run.
Thank you. I'd like to reclaim my time. There are several, there's an industry-wide consensus here. There has also been a survey in March of oil and gas companies by the Dallas Fed, which were littered about complaints around uncertainty. Companies in this survey commented on the rising costs for materials like steel, which was subject to a 25% tariff at the time and is now subject to a 50% tariff as of June 4th. Steel is obviously a very important input in oil and gas production and energy production writ large.
And I'll take this opportunity to do something I don't think I ever have. Shout out JD Vance for something very true he said. On the campaign trail, he repeatedly made the point about how energy costs affect housing. This is true. So as you can see, a 100% increase in the tariffs on steel that will affect oil and energy production will have multiple downstream effects like housing that will increase prices in your day-to-day life. I do also quickly want to point out, it's kind of funny that his response to her asking if he supports the tariffs is to just go, Trump will actually do good things. Like, trust me, good things will happen. None of these people will address any issue with any substance. They won't answer any question in good faith because the substance goes against what they're trying to push, and they're largely just there for the financial incentive. Let's be real, not so much the logical consistency or what's best for America.